Welcome back to the civilizational bridge. I wish our Valmiki had access to a typewriter for his 25,000 verses that were composed as part of Ramayana, but most likely he composed and recorded them on palm leaf manuscripts. Ancient Indians utilized palm leaves, particularly from the talipot palm, as a medium for writing texts, scriptures, and other literary works. The process of preparing and writing on palm leaves was very systematic. Here's how palm leaf manuscripts were typically manufactured, if you are wondering how. Step 1: Harvesting and preparing the leaves. Mature leaves were selected and cut from the palm trees. The green leaves were then boiled along with camphor or some kind of astringents to soften them. Step 2: Drying. After boiling, the leaves were dried under the sun. Once dried, they were placed under weighted flat boards to straighten them and prevent them from curling. Step 3: Polishing or smoothing. The dried leaves were then polished using a conch shell or other similar materials to make them smooth and suitable for writing. This also helped to make the manuscripts more durable and free from pests. Step 4: Cutting to size. The polished leaves were then cut to the desired size. The standard sizes were established based on the type of text being recorded. Step 5: Preparation for writing. Using a pointed metal stylus, lines were often drawn on the leaf to ensure straight writing. Step 6: Writing, the actual writing. The actual writing was done using sharp pointed stylus. The stylus would be used to incise the characters onto the leaf. This method of writing ensured the longevity of the text as it was literally etched into the leaf. Step 7: Blackening. To make the writing more legible, the inscribed leaf would often be smeared with a mixture of coconut oil and soot or turmeric, which would settle into the incised letters, turning them dark against the lighter background of the leaf. Step 8: Binding. Once all the leaves for a manuscript were prepared, they would be strung together through holes. They would punch a hole through, typically made on the left side or sometimes in the center too of each leaf. This allowed the manuscript to be opened and closed like a book with the leaves being flipped. Step 9: Protective covers. Often wooden covers, sometimes intricately carved, were attached to the front and back of these manuscripts to provide protection. Step 10: Storage. Palm leaf manuscripts were delicate. They could be damaged by moisture, termites, or other pests. They were therefore stored in dry places and they would often wrap them in cloth. The entire process of creating palm leaf manuscripts was labor intensive and required skilled artisans. If you make it today, it will take 20 to 30 days to create a palm leaf manuscript. With time and use, these manuscripts would wear out or become damaged. So it was a common practice for old texts to be frequently copied onto new palm leaves to ensure their preservation. Now, do you know the oldest palm leaf manuscript found so far by archaeologists? It is called the Spitzer manuscript. The Spitzer manuscript is the oldest known philosophical manuscript written in Buddhist Sanskrit. It was found in 1906 in the Kizil Caves, China, during an expedition led by Albert Grunewedel. The manuscript, consisting of over 1000 palm leaf fragments, is named after Moritz Spitzer, who first studied it in 1927-28. The manuscript's age was estimated at 130 CE via the carbon 14 technique, but some believe it could date to 200 to 230 CE based on paleographical features. The text written in the Brahmi script was from the Kushana period, with some portions in early Gupta script. Found near the northern branch of the Central Asian Silk Road, the Spitzer manuscript is unique for a variety of reasons. No translations of its content exist in Tibet and China. Unlike many Indian manuscripts, It includes copies of older Buddhist and Hindu treatises. The majority of the manuscript comprises Buddhist treatises, including verses on Buddhist philosophies and a debate on dukkha. The Hindu parts of the manuscript include treatises from the Nyaya Vaisasika and Tarka Shastra. Tarka means rhetoric and debate. It's a treatise on how to be good at rhetoric and debate. This is my favorite part. It has one of the earliest known table of contents for the Mahabharata, with numerals listed after each parva. Each parva is a chapter or a book of Mahabharata. Notably, the list does not include Anusasana parva and Virata parva. So, Buddhist scholars essentially maintained a version of Mahabharata. And yes, it also tells you how our wisdom travelled. Isn't it ironic that the oldest surviving manuscript with table of contents for Mahabharata or Ramayana was found in China? It makes me wonder, though, if our Valmiki scratched a few lines out or just threw some palm leaves out. Without further ado, let's go to Sarga 3 of Ramayana with a short recap of Balakanda, Sarga 2 of Ramayana. Valmiki the sage visited the river Tamasa for his morning rituals. There he witnessed a heartbreaking sight of a male Krauncha bird being shot down by a hunter. Moved by the incident, he expressed his sorrow poetically in the form of a sloka with beautiful meter called Anustup Sloka, 2 lines with exactly 16 syllables in each line. Then Lord Brahma appeared at Valmiki's hermitage and instructed him to compose a great poem narrating the story of Rama in the same exquisite meter. As a divine boon, Lord Brahma granted Valmiki the power of clairvoyance, enabling him to see the events of the past and the future, which empowered him to create the epic tale of Ramayana with incredible depth and insight. Now, from this point onwards, I will start using the numbers so it is clear to everyone what I am reading and what I am explaining based on some feedback. Here's how Sarga 3 starts. Shrutva vastu samagram tat dharmatma dharma samhitam vyaktam anveshate bhuyo yad vruttam tasya dhimatah upasprushodakam samyak munistitva krutanjalihi prachinagreshu darbheshu dharmenanveshate gatim Rama Lakshmana Sita bhi Rajna Dasradhena cha Sabharyena Sarashtrena Yat Praptam Tatra Tatvatah Hasitam Bhashitam Chaiva Gatirya Yacha Chestitam Tat Sarvam Dharma Viryena Yathavat Samprapashyati. Shrutva, having heard, Vastu Samagram, entirely, Tat Dharmatma, that righteous soul, referring to Valmiki, Dharma Samhitam, with the power of righteousness, Vyaktam Anveshate, sought events, Anveshate, seeking the events, Bhuyo, again, Yad Vruttam, whatever happened, Tasya, of that, Dhimataha, wise one, referring to Rama. So, having heard the entire matter, invoking his power acquired on account of his righteous nature, Valmiki sought to understand all the events in the story of Rama. Upasprusha 1.3.2 Upasprusha, having touched Udakam, water, Samyak, properly, Munistitva, the sage standing, Krutanjalihi, with folded hands, Prachinagreshu darbheshu, amidst the ancient Kusa grass, Dharmena, with righteousness, Anveshate, sought, Gatim, events. So, what does it mean by touching the water? We use water to clean ourselves. In the same way, it is a small little act to just touch water like this, remind oneself to purify their mind when they are doing something. So, coming back to the summary of the verse, having touched the water duly and standing with folded hands amidst the old Kusa grass, the sage began to meditate on the events that happened, summoning the power that came from his or through his righteousness. 1.3.3, it starts with Rama Lakshmana Sita Abhi, by Rama, Lakshmana, Sita. Rajna, the king, Dasaradhena cha, Dasaradha too, Sabharyena, with his wives, Sarashtrena, with the kingdom, Yat Praptam, whatever was attained, Tatra, there, Tatvataha, the truth. He started seeing the truth. Who? Valmiki started seeing the truth as to whatever was happening to Rama, Lakshmana, Sita, King Dasharatha, along with his wives and kingdom. 1.3.4, Hasitam, smiles, Bhashitancha, words spoken, and Eva, even, Gatiryaha, motioning, Yacha, whatever, Cheshtitam, has happened, Tat Sarvam, all that, Dharmaviryena, with the power of righteousness, Yathavat, as it is, Samprapashyati, seeing well. Summary is that whatever smiles happened, whatever words were spoken, whatever moved or whatever events were happening, all that Valmiki began to see as if it was truly happening through his power of righteousness. So, what does it mean by the power of righteousness? Everyone thinks whatever they are doing is right. Even a thief has some kind of justification for his stealing. But say the thief and others observe his action in hindsight, objectively. Is it a righteous act based on his duty? It could be a righteous deed for all we know. Robin Hood-esque, I would assume. Apparently, these sages do meditation, acquire calmness and perform rational thinking while they are doing an action, hence giving them the power of righteousness. Every action they do, they think about dharma. What am I doing? Is it righteous? Can it be righteously justified? Okay, let's move on to 1.3.5. Stri trutiyena cha tada yat praptam charatavane satya sandhena ramena tat sarvam chanvavekshitam tatah pashyati dharmatma tat sarvam yogamasthitah pura yat tatra nivruttam panavamalakam yatha tat sarvam tatvato društva dharmena samahadyutihi abhiramasya ramasya charitam kartumudyatah kamartha guna samyuktam dharmartha guna vistaram samudramiva ratnadhyam sarvasruti manoharam. Stri trutiyena cha tada, stri, lady, with a lady, trutiyena, third person was the lady, with the stri, yat praptam charatavane, per the turn of fate, charatavane, moving in the forest, who satya sandhena ramena, someone who is steadfast in truth, that is Rama. Tat sarvam chanvavekshitam, cha anvavekshitam, everything was observed. So Rama, he was able to see Rama with the third person who is a lady. They were going in the forest and he was keenly observing the entire incident, entire thing. Valmiki was able to observe the entire thing. Tatah pasyati dharmatma, then the righteous Valmiki sees. Tat sarvam yogamasthitah, everything with deep insight. Pura yat tatra nivruttam, pura past, yat tatra was being nivruttam revealed, panavamalakam tatha, as if it is one observing amalaka fruit or amla fruit, Indian gooseberry. Essentially, Valmiki started seeing as the past was being revealed to him, as if one is observing a fruit in your hand. This is not amalakam or Indian gooseberry, this is actually strawberry, but it's as if you have a fruit in your hand and you are able to see everything. He was able to see everything. Tat, next verse is 1.3.7. Tat sarvam tatvato društva, everything in its true sense, seeing it, right? Tat sarvam tatvato, truth, društva, seeing, dharmena, of the righteous Rama, sa mahadyutihi, he who is radiant or resplendent. For Telugu audience, let me remind the word Dyuti. In a movie called Swati Kiranam, there is this famous song, Shruti Neevu, Dyuti Neevu, Ni nakruti neevu bharati. Dyuti in Sanskrit means radiance. That's where it came from. Abhiramasya Ramasya, the splendid deeds of Rama. Charitam kartu mudyataha, composed to do, he readied himself. Who? Valmiki. So let me explain what the verse says. Observing the truth as the splendid deeds of Rama unfolded in front of his eyes, Valmiki started to compose and got himself ready for it. Verse 1.3.8 goes, Kamardha guna samyuktam, worldly desires and material purposes endowed with. Dharmardha guna vistaram, virtues of righteousness and morals endowed with them. Samudramiva ratnadhyam, like an ocean that is full of gems. Sarva shruti manoharam, all the sounds, sarva shruti, sounds endowed with beauty, manoharam. So this verse is about the nature and the quality of the work that Valmiki started. This work of writing Ramayana includes Kamartha guna and Dharmartha guna, worldly desires as well as virtues of dharma. It is like an ocean that is full of gems, with beauty in every sound that you make while renditioning it, maybe like my own rendition. I don't know if the viewers caught a phrase that was interesting here. Samudramiva ratnadhyam, ocean full of gemstones. I wonder though archaeologically between 1500 BC and 2500 BC or before that, what kind of gemstones they were finding in the ocean and what were they trading. I know lapis lazuli, but lapis lazuli is from Afghanistan. The ocean, in the ocean though, what was common makes me wonder, is there a way to determine the age of these gemstones? There are apparently 13 types of ocean crystals used in jewelry. Just for my viewers, I have added photographs of these gemstones. When you see them next time in a jewelry shop, and my wife of course loves them, identify them and tell the shop owner what they are. Pearl, common one is pearl obviously in the ocean. Aquamarine, Larimer, abalone shell, coral, sea salt crystals, blue calcite, ocean jasper, sea glass, lepidolite, amazonite, serpentine, peridotite. These gemstones do come out of the oceans, out of salt water, right? Can we estimate the age of these gems based on the exposure to the surface? What are the gemstones that are difficult to obtain, but the ancient Indians were able to get their hands on? Do we have some of these old ocean gemstones? Maybe in your families, maybe in temples. I am hoping you are getting why I am asking these questions. Yes, it might help us estimate the age of Ramayana when it was written by giving us an upper bound. By that time they knew the type of gemstones you could get, not the type, but some gemstones are obtained from the ocean. But with this food for thought, I am going to end this episode and continue part 2 of Sarga 3 in the next episode. Viewers, thank you for staying with me. If you like this episode, please like, share and subscribe. As always, this is your host Hemant.